Hello, hello. Get my hair fixed because you're going to be looking at me for a bit. Um, so I am going to start with the Phantom Tollbooth, Act 1, Scene 1. So everything in this scene all has the same setting, or at least mostly the same setting. There might be a few little things that change. So right here in paragraph 1, you're going to see these are stage directions. This is what the cast members need to know. So right now, the stage is completely dark and silent. Suddenly, the sound of someone winding an alarm clock is heard. And after that, the sound of a loud ticking is heard. Then lights up on the clock. So all you see is this clock, a huge alarm clock. The clock reads 4 o'clock. The lighting should make it appear that the clock is suspended in midair if possible. The clock ticks for 30 seconds. Okay, and then clock is the character here. And if you don't remember who clock is, we can always go back up, and it just says clock. And talk, maybe watchdog. Okay, still, I'm not so sure about this story, but we're going to get through it. Clock is speaking. See that? Half a minute gone by. Seems like a long time when you're waiting for something to happen, doesn't it? Funny thing is, time can pass very slowly or very fast, and sometimes even both at once. The time now? Oh, a little after 4. But what that means should depend on you. Too often we do something simply because time tells us to. Time for school, time for bed. Whoops, 12 o'clock, time to be hungry. It can get a little silly, don't you think? Time is important, but what you do with it makes it so. So my advice to you is use it. Keep your eyes open and your ears perked. Otherwise, it will pass before you know it, and you'll certainly have missed something. Things have a habit of doing that, you know, being here 1 minute and gone the next. Wow, I'm just having like super connections right now to the quarantine, because that's exactly what happened with us. 1 minute we were at school being able to do all this, be together, and then we were on schedules and everything, and now we're nothing like that. Like right now my kids eat lunch around 2:30, which is when we'd be going home from school. And that's just because they're sleeping in later and staying up later, because that's just works better for our family right now. Okay, but anyway, back to the story. So he says, you better pay attention to time as is passing. He said, I'm going to read this again. Things have a habit of doing that, you know, being here 1 minute, then gone the next. In the twinkling of an eye, in a jiffy, in a flash. I know a girl who yawned and missed a whole summer vacation. And what about that caveman who took a nap one afternoon and woke up to find himself completely alone? You see, while he was sleeping, someone had invented the wheel, and everyone had moved to the suburbs, which are like the neighborhoods. And then, of course, there is Milo. Okay, so now all of this in here is what's happening as as we're watching the play. So lights are coming up, and they reveal Milo's bedroom. The clock appears to be on a shelf in the room of a young boy, a room filled with books, toys, games, maps, papers, pencils, a bed, and a desk. There is a dartboard with numbers and a face of a mathematician, a bedspread made from King Azaz's cloak, a kite looking like the spelling bee, a punching bag with the humbug's face, as well as records. Okay, so this is an old story here. Records are kind of like CDs, but they're bigger. I hope you know what those are. Let's see, I just lost my place. A television, a toy car, a large box that is wrapped and has an envelope taped to the top. The sound of footsteps is heard, and then enters Milo dejectedly, which means he's like all upset. He throws down his books and coat, flops into a chair, and sighs loudly. Okay, now this is what he's doing. He says, "Who never knows what to do with himself? Not just sometimes, but always. When he's in school, he wants to be out, and when he's out, he wants to be in." Okay, so now back to what's happening. During this speech, Milo is going to examine various toys, tools, and other possessions or things he has in the room, trying them out and rejecting them. So while he's talking, he's going around his room and looking at the things and like kind of being like, whatever. Okay. Wherever he is, he wants to be somewhere else. And when he gets there, so what? Everything is too much trouble or a waste of time. Books, he's already read them. Games, boring. TV, dumb. So what's left? Another long, boring afternoon. Unless he bothers to notice a very large package that happened to arrive today. Okay, so Milo, he suddenly notices the package. He drags himself over to it and disinterestedly reads the label. He's like, oh, just looking at it. For Milo, who has plenty of time, well, that's true. He sighs and he looks at it. No, he walks away. Well, comes back and rips open the envelope and reads. So the character, a voice. One genuine turnpike toll booth, easily assembled at home for use by those who have never traveled in the lands beyond. Okay. It says one here. A turnpike is a road that people pay a fee or toll to use. A toll booth is the booth or gate at which tolls are collected. And you probably have seen these if you've ever traveled to Chicago or even Florida. Okay, Milo, here we go. He says, beyond what? Continues reading. A voice. This package contains the following items. So Milo right now, he's pulling items out of the box and setting them up as they are mentioned. So just think, he has this huge box in front of him, and this is what he's doing. 1 genuine turnpike toll booth to be erected according to directions, which means built. 3 precautionary signs to be used in a precautionary fashion. So that's probably like a stop sign, a go sign, and a caution sign. Assorted coins for paying tolls. 1 map, strictly up to date, showing how to get from here to there. 1 book of rules and traffic regulations, which are also rules, which may not be bent or broken. Warning, rules are not guaranteed. If not perfectly satisfied, your wasted time will be refunded. So Milo skeptically he's kind of like, what? He says, come off it. Who do you think you're kidding? He walks around and examines the toll booth. What am I supposed to do with this? The ticking of the clock grows loud and impatient. Well, what else do I have to do? Milo gets into his toy car and drives up to the first sign. Okay, I'm getting a little confused here because how did he get into his toy car if he's a human? All right, I'm going to read a little bit more, then I'm going to stop it and we'll do another reading. Okay, so the voice says, have your destination in mind. So it just means know where you're wanting to go. So Milo pulls out the map. Now let's see. That's funny. I never heard of any of these places. Well, it doesn't matter. Dictionopolis, that's a weird name. I might as well go there. And he begins to move, following the map, drives off. Then clock. See what I mean? You never know how things are going to get started. But when you're bored, What you need more than anything is a rude awakening. And the scene ends with the alarm going off very loudly and the stage darkens. The sound of the alarm is transformed into the honking of a car horn and is then joined by the blast, beeps, roars, and growls of heavy traffic. When the lights come up, Milo's bedroom is gone and we see a lonely road in the middle of nowhere. Okay, so I'm not quite sure what's going on, other than he's got this game that he is going to play. And it's kind of feeling very weird because I feel like now that we're in quarantine, this could happen to us. Da, da, da. Anyway, to be continued.